This week, Hims and Hers Health announced it would sell an oral weight loss drug for as little as $49 a month. It's described as a personalized, compounded version of Wegovy. Markets reacted immediately. Hims shares jumped. Novo Nordisk shares fell. And within hours, the Food and Drug Administration signaled it may step in. At first glance, this looks like a simple story. Cheaper drugs versus expensive drugs. But that's not why regulators reacted so fast. Compounded drugs are not new. Compounded semaglutide is not new. What's new is scale and how the rules are being pushed. Under U.S. law, once a drug is no longer officially in shortage, compounding becomes much more restricted. Pharmacies are allowed to compound only for patient-specific needs, not for mass-market distribution. That distinction matters, because the FDA treats small custom compounding very differently from large-scale production that looks and feels like manufacturing. This is where the word personalized becomes critical. Platforms like Hims rely on three main arguments. First, they offer different strengths, doses the original manufacturer doesn't sell. Second, they offer alternative delivery, like an oral pill instead of an injection. Or they add ingredients such as vitamin B12 to create a combination drug. Third, a doctor on the platform prescribes a patient-specific version, often framed as helping manage side effects. On paper, that keeps the product inside the rules. But in practice, this begins to look like mass compounding dressed up as personalization. And that's the exact regulatory line the FDA is sensitive to. Now, let's talk about the product, because this is where the risk escalates. This is not an FDA-approved pill like Novo's. It has not gone through FDA trials. There are no published absorption studies, no public bioequivalence data, no validated dosing curves, and no large human safety trials. Having the same active ingredient does not mean it's the same drug. Novo didn't just invent semaglutide. They spent years solving one of the hardest problems in medicine. How do you get a fragile peptide through the stomach and into the bloodstream in a reliable, predictable way? Their oral formulation relies on a specific absorption enhancer called SNAC. That technology took years to develop and years to prove in human trials. In medicine, the drug isn't just the molecule, it's the delivery system and the exposure profile. That's what FDA approval actually proves. Now add the part many people underestimate. GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy are not simple or clean drugs. Even in their approved forms, they carry real risks: severe nausea and vomiting, gallbladder disease, pancreatitis warnings, and strict dose escalation rules to control side effects. Doctors follow those rules because dosing matters. Now ask the most important question in this entire story. If approved GLP-1 drugs already require careful dosing and monitoring, who actually knows the safety risks of a personalized, compounded oral version sold at national scale? Do we know how much of the drug different people absorb? Do we know how unpredictable that absorption might be? Do we know what happens when a custom dose suddenly delivers far more drug than expected? Those answers normally come from trials. Here, they don't exist publicly. This is why the FDA reacted quickly. Not because compounding exists, not because the price is low, but because the combination of unproven oral delivery, flexible dosing, and mass market distribution creates a safety profile regulators can no longer control. And timing matters. With major events like the Super Bowl approaching, marketing spreads fast. Once millions of people hear personalized oral weight loss pill, assumptions form instantly. Approved, safe. Stopping that false confidence before it spreads is exactly the FDA's job. That's why FDA Commissioner Marty Makary moved so fast. This isn't about protecting drug companies. It's about stopping a familiar failure pattern. Before we wrap up, if this story sounds familiar, it should. In our previous video, Why Medicare is Being Quietly Rewritten, I explained how Medicare Advantage insurers learned to benefit from diagnosis and coding rules, how they played the system perfectly on paper. For a while, it worked. But once everyone optimized and the program got big enough, the math stopped working, and the system started to break. This oral semaglutide story follows the same pattern. Rules designed for limited patient-specific use were optimized. Those optimizations scaled nationally. And once scale exposed the risk, regulators were forced to step in. If you want the framework for how legal systems break once they're pushed to scale, that Medicare video connects directly to this one. Link in description. This is Global Notes by JP. If you found this helpful, comment, like, share, and hit the bell. We're building the strongest macro community on the platform, one signal at a time, together.